Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Tobo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
A pleasant good morning and welcome to Focal Online TV, wherever you are watching us from. If you are watching us live from the diaspora, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, due to your geographical location. If you are within Liberia, a pleasant good morning to you, and we pray and hope that you can have yourself a nice weekend. Thank God today is Friday. TGRF. Thank God it's Friday, and we are about to resume as the week will be commencing, the weekend will be starting today, this Friday. So this morning we will look at our newspapers this video. We have the Daily Observer newspaper, we have the Front Page Africa newspaper, we have the Independent Probe newspaper, we have the New Down newspaper. So from there we will get information from our international source, that is the ABC. For this morning, I am your presenter on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media, and my name is Greg Finan Karishpar. I'm here with my co-presenter. His name is
Lyndon Toba.
Lyndon Toba is my co-presenter here on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. So before we bring you information, especially relating to our news source, that is the Daily Observer newspaper. Firstly, let's take a short break. When we get back, we fill you in on the happenings of our country, Liberia, from firstly the Daily Observer newspaper. Thanks for watching. Please stay with us as we will be right back shortly.
Focal TV, bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening in Liberia and the rest of the world. Focal TV, with check and balance, we break it as it unfolds. Focal TV, bringing you face to face with newsmakers in town. Focal TV, the best online platform in broadcasting. Focal TV, located at Tobo Village, Somalia Drive, Liberia. Be the part and experience the best in online broadcasting. Keep Focal.
Okay, folks, welcome back to another daily edition of Inside the Print Media. So I'm officially welcoming you to today's edition. Today is Friday, August 18, 2023. My name is Greg Financy Par, and I'm serving as your presenter on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media. And I'm here with my co-presenter,
Lyndon Toba.
and we will be bringing you information from our news sources within Liberia as it relates to the different news agency within our country. We have the Daily Observer newspaper, we have the Front Page Africa newspaper, we have the New Down newspaper, and the Independent Pro newspaper here with us in studio this morning. Overall, we have our international news, and our source today is the ABC. So let's commence with the Daily Observer newspaper. The headline reads, Liberia likely to contribute soldiers for Niger's intervention. Liberia likely to contribute soldiers for Niger's intervention. The news in details. The administration of President George Weah appears ready to contribute troops for the ECOWAS standby force, which is expected to intervene militarily in Niger to restore President Mohamed Bazoum's government, which was overthrown in a coup last month. The Weah government, which has strongly supported ECOWAS' effort to overturn Bazoum's removal, plans to join its neighboring countries, Ivory Coast and Sierra Leone, in contributing troops in the standby force. Abdel Fattah Musa, the ECOWAS commissioner, revealed yesterday that all bloc member states, with the exception of those on the military route and Cape Verde, are ready to participate in the standby force. Musa's revelation comes as officials from the Liberian army participate in an ongoing ECOWAS defense chiefs meeting in Accra to plan a strategy for the bloc military intervention. The meeting to discuss Niger's crisis comes after a deadline passed on August 6 for Mauritanian soldiers to release and reinstate Boswan or face military intervention. Boswan remains under house arrest with his wife and son in the capital, Niamey. ECOWAS has been deliberating on the use of force, which is described as a last resort, for weeks due to several mediation teams sent to Niamey and the lack of consensus in the ranks. Nigeria Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Kabin Musa, said at the start of the two-day meeting in Accra, which ends today, democracy is what we stand for and what we encourage. The focus of our gathering is not simply to react to events, but to proactively chart a course that results in peace and promotes stability. Meanwhile, Burkina Faso and Mali, which have experienced multiple coups since 2020, warned that any military intervention in Niger would be declared an act of war, revealing a fracture in the region between coastal countries and those in the Far-Latine Sahel. Pleading also on the military rule and condemning any external aggression has refrained from making any other comments. The top security body of the African Union met on Monday to consider whether it will support military intervention, but has yet to make a decision publicly. The AU Peace and Security Council could overrule a military intervention if it perceives that wider stability on the continent is threatened. If it is rejects the use of force or if it rejects the use of force, there are few grounds on which ECOWAS could claim legal justification. An ECOWAS military intervention in Niger primarily safeguards the stability of the bloc and the protocol on democracy and good governance, which emphasizes the importance of peaceful power transfer. The protocol adopted by ECOWAS in 2001 represents a bloc commitment to democratic principles and explicitly recognizes ECOWAS' right to intervene in member states where democracy is under threat. Article 1 of the protocol boldly states that ECOWAS has zero tolerance for power obtained or maintained by unconstitutional means and strict adherence to democratic principles. International law also supports ECOWAS' right to intervene militarily in the face of security threats. Chapter 6 or Chapter V3 of the United Nations Charter explicitly allows regional organizations to take collective action to address regional conflicts. As history in the region has shown that political crises rarely stay contained within national borders. This is how we move over to another headline under the Daily Observer newspaper. FGM identified as a leading cause of death in African countries. Female genital mutilation (FGM) identified as a leading cause of death in African countries. The news in details. Female genital mutilation (FGM) is a leading cause of death in the countries where it is practiced, with over 44,000 additional women and young girls dying each year, a new study reveals. FGM accounts for more deaths in these countries than any cause other than electric infections, usually resulting from consuming contaminated food or water, respiratory infection, or malaria, and remains legal in 5 of the 28 countries where it is most practiced. Researchers are calling for FGM to be made illegal. Mali, Malawi, Chad, Sierra Leone, and Liberia, given that legal change can lead to the cultural change. They also say that efforts must be stepped up to eliminate FGM in countries where it is practiced. Publishing their findings in Nature Scientific Reports, researchers from the University of Brigham and Exeter analyzed the numbers of girls subjected to FGM in Benin, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Chad, Cote d'Ivoire, Egypt, Ethiopia, Guinea, Kenya, Mali, Niger, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, and Tanzania. They discovered that a 50% increase in the number of girls undergoing FGM increases their 5-year mortality rate and leads to estimated 444, sorry, 444,320 excess deaths per year across countries where the practice takes place. There is a call for optimism as work on non-communicable diseases shows effective intervention are possible, but change in patriarchal attitudes often lacks other societal change. An important first step would be for FGM to be made illegal in the countries where it is within the law, given that legal change can lead to cultural change. Globally, over 200 million women and girls have been subjected to FGM, a practice which often happens in unsanitary conditions and without clinical supervision, with consequent severe pain, bleeding, and infection. It is known to lead to obstetric complications, reduction in sexual function, and other long-term physical health problems, as well as mental health problems. The World Health Organization (WHO) estimates that aggregate cost of medical treatment for girls and women after FGM was US 1.4 million in 2018. However, until now, there has been no systematic evidence about the role of FGM in the global ethnology of child mortality, reflecting difficulties in measuring the practice. A key social dimension of FGM is how it impacts on marriage. For example, the practice influenced women's marriage opportunity in West Africa due to patriarchal culture and institution. Our research suggests that decisions about FGM may reflect trade-off between disadvantages FGM such as and illegality and expected benefits such as reduced sentence and a higher bride price, people may factor in any increased risks of death as part of the calculation, added Professor Rookie. This is how we turn over to Kay Lyndon Sopa, who will bring to us the news headlines and the news and details from our source, that is the Front Page Africa.
All right, thank you, Griffin Papa, for such an eloquent presentation on this morning. From Fish Africa, Senate Foreign Affairs Committee reject Tracy Ashley Grisby as Liberia's ambassador to France. Senate Foreign Committee rejects Tracy Ashley Grisby as Liberia's ambassador to France. A leaked report obtained by this paper reveals that the Senate Foreign Affairs Committee has recommended to the Senate plenary the rejections of the confirmations of Madam Tracy Ashley Grisby as the ambassador to the Republic of France and permanent delegate to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO. The Senate Foreign Affairs Committee report highlights concern over the nominee's suitability for the role, citing a lack of necessary and experience to fulfill the duty of the office. The committee committee stance is based on the careful deliberations and considerations of the nominees' qualifications. In light of our thorough examinations, the committee is firmly convinced that the nominee current experience does not align with the substantial responsibility associated with the position, states the committee report. As a result, the committee recommends that the Liberia Senate refrain from confirming Madam Tracy Ashley Brazier for the esteemed role of Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of France, as well as permanent delegate to UNESCO on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Liberia. In observations from the committee, during the inquiry into the nominees' qualification and expertise for the role of Liberia's permanent delegate to UNESCO, the committee noted that Madam Tracy Ashley Brazier failed to provide a compelling explanations in relation to her familiarity with UNESCO mandate. Furthermore, the report highlights the nominee's own admissions that she lacks prior experience as an ambassador before being designated for the Paris mission. When encompasses a broad spectrum of countries, including Liberia's UNESCO office, given the magnitude of Paris mission's responsibilities, which span numerous nations, and the crucial oversight of Liberia's UNESCO office, the committee deems the nominee's qualification insufficient to effectively represent Liberia in such a significant diplomatic capacity and to effectively manage the responsibility of Liberian UNESCO office. The Senate decision regarding this nomination holds implications for Liberia's diplomatic representations in a vital context, underscoring the significance of ensuring that nominees possess the requisite experience and qualification to uphold Liberia's interests effectively on the global stage.
Thank you, Kevin Dontoba, for the information from the front page African newspaper. So we commence from the New Dawn newspaper. So if you are watching, we encourage you to get yourself a newspaper. Be familiar with all of the happenings within our country like Liberia, especially as we go through this trending moments in our electoral process, and we are already in the campaign period. It's good to be informed about the happenings of our country and the world at large. So you can tune into Focal Online TV every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. where we bring you this important information, or better still, get yourself a newspaper and be acquainted with all of the happenings within our country, Liberia. So I will now begin with the New Dawn newspaper's headlines. Goals to launch rehab centers in 4 counties. Goals to launch rehab centers in 4 counties. Goal to launch rehab centers in 4 counties. UN pledges US 3 million in support. The Minister of Youth and Sport, Mr. D. Zora Wilson, has announced the launch of rehabilitation centers for at-risk youth across 4 counties in Liberia. The project targets Monserrado, Grand Bassa, Bomi, and Margibi counties respectively. Scheduled to commence on 21 August 2023. The program's initial phase aims to relocate more than 1,000 at-risk youth to rehabilitation centers across the 4 counties. They will be taken to those centers for screening and comprehensive support, effectively addressing the diverse challenges they encounter. Minister Wilson disclosed that there are plans for an additional 6 detoxification centers and 13 rehabilitation centers to be distributed across the 4 respective counties. For the detoxification centers, Monserrado and Margibi are each set to have 2 centers, while Bomi and Basel will each host 1 center. He further expressed hope that at-risk youth will embrace the program and actively participate in its recruitment process. During the early 2023 fundraising campaign for at-risk youth, President George Manuel Weah pledged a sum of 1 million. Meanwhile, Minister Wilson has highlighted the government's achievement in raising 5,500 5,056 556,000 to fund the project. He said that the recruitment process for at-risk youth is expected to take place across several locations, including Montserrado County at the Pennon Building on Center Street and the Invisible Park in Cinco. Bombing and Grand Baza counties will have 2 recruitment sites each. According to Mr. Wilson, the process has been underway for several years in collaboration with multiple partners. He indicated that President Weah's stance is to maintain a non-political approach with a clear focus on addressing the prevailing issues. Wilson revealed that while the program is administered by the government, its progress was impeded by the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic. Despite the challenges, he said the previous year still saw significant advancements. Fee Hopper, the United Nations Liberia resident coordinator, Christine N. Yumutuni, has appreciated the government through the Ministry of Youth and Sport and other line ministries for their collaboration on the At-Risk Youth Program. She noted that the collaborative effort between the government of Liberia, the United Nations, and its partners reflects the commitment of securing a better future for Liberian youth and contributing to lasting peace and stability within the country. She noted that by harnessing the collective effort of the United Nations and the government of Liberia, they seek to provide comprehensive support of USD 3 million that will empower at-risk youth, nurture their potentials, and guide them toward positive contributions to society. However, this is just the beginning. The emergency plans will pave the way for a wider and more sustained program that will address the multifaceted challenges faced by at-risk youth in Liberia over the coming years, she said. Dr. Wilhelmina Njala, the Minister of Health, said the government, their technical team, has been diligently working behind the scenes to create a viable evidence-based model for treating individuals with drug addiction. She advised people with medical or addiction problems to seek help through the various facilities that were listed. So we now move over to another headline under the New Down newspaper. We are Bags District number 3 voters. We are Bags District number 3 voters. The news in details. Incumbent President George Manuel Weah has pleaded with potential voters in Montserrado County Electoral District number 3 not to reject him again as he seeks re-election. In his campaign tour Thursday, 17 August 2023, Mr. Weah begged voters to vote for more development so he can leave a legacy. President Weah and his campaign team rallied Montserrado Electoral District 2 and 3 on Thursday but received a low turnout. The districts are thought to be opposition Unity Party UP strongholds. The reception Mr. Weah received in District 2 and 3 was contrary to the way he was embraced in his initial campaign activities in Montserrado County Electoral District 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. In these districts, Mr. Weah and his entourage received a rousing welcome from supporters, but he had a poor reception and turnout on Thursday, 17 August 2023, in District number 2 and 3, where he was greeted by a handful of supporters. Supporters had a poorly attended campaign match with President Weah from Nizo Junction to Jacobtown support page where he held an interaction with citizens and begged them to support his bid for a second term. Resident in District Number 3 repeated the poor reception Mr. Weah received in District Number 2 when he and his entourage marched from the Pipeline Supermarket Road to Dr. Henry Reed's football field. Despite the low turnout, Mr. Weah pleaded with residents to support his request or his quest for a second term to enable him to continue developing the country. Mr. Weah bragged that he's the best president the country has ever had, stressing his wish for leaving a development legacy in the minds of the people if he's re-elected. Addressing voters at the Dr. Henry Reed's poll page in Montserrat Electoral District Number 3, President Weah passionately pleaded with voters not to reject him again. He lamented that voters in that district have constantly turned down his quest for elected power. District number 3, I have come again to you. Let me give you a narrative of how we must appreciate one another. Weah began his plead for voters. I want you to know when I was running for senator of Montserrat County, I came here and you did not give me your mandate. But I still did not give up and won the election. We are continuing. He explained that while serving as senator, he returned to the district along with former National Port Authority Managing Director Bill Terway, and they built a school in the district so that the residents can have access to education. Again in 2017, I came to you to vote for me as your president. And most of you did not vote for me, but it did not stop me from building your roads and giving you free WASI, that is West African Senior School Certificate examination fees and free education, he told the residents. I just want to let you know I love you unconditionally, Mr. Weah added. President Weah noted that he has returned to the district again to ask people of Montserrat County, Electoral District Number 3, to vote him into power for a second term to continue development for the nation. This is how we run over to K. Lyndon Tupa for information as it relates to the headlines and using details from Independent Pro.
Thank you, Griffin Asipa. Independent Pro newspaper commemorating the 20th anniversary of the signing of Accra Comprehensive Peace Agreement. U.S. Embassy Monrovia congratulates all Liberians on the 20th anniversary of the signing of Accra Comprehensive Peace Agreement on August 18, 2023. As Liberians celebrate 20 years of peace and democratic governance, which occurred due to the enormous sacrifices of other Liberians, women, youth, civil society, religious group, and the brutal civil war. Your country should be proud of this achievement. The United States continues to be a strong partner of Liberia. When Liberians go to the poll in October, we remind all political parties to adhere to the Farmington River declarations to condemn all violence and violent rhetoric and keep their commitment to free, fair, peaceful election. Skip over this one. No ban on export of pineapple rice from India to Liberia. The Indian ambassador to Liberia, Mr. Pradeep Yadav, has clarified that at no time his country placed a ban on the export of pineapple rice from India to Liberia. Rice in India mean export to Liberia, and let me clarify that there is no ban on the export of pineapple rice from India to Liberia, which is the variety of rice imported by Liberia. The Indian ambassador extraordinary planetarian disclosed Tuesday, August 16 at the country's 176th Independence Day dinner, which was held at the Monrovia City Hall. The Indian diplomat qualification comes after a Vietnamese politician, Mr. Simon Freeman, and all Liberia have warned of a serious rice crisis. Specifically, Mr. Freeman, who is one of the 20 presidential candidates in the upcoming October 10th presidential and legislative elections, was very forceful in his claims of the ban, and not even the Ministry of Commerce and Industry over the Ministry of Commerce and Industry and the Ministry of Agriculture have opposed Simon Freeman accession on the alleged ban. He has made the statement on August 7, 2023. Members of the High Table during the 27th Independence Day dinner of India, it is not clear whether the movement of progressive change presidential hopeful mistook the Indian ban on the export of non-basmati rice due to the concerns about rising domestic food prices and the need to ensure sufficient supply of its own citizens, as the ban on the type of rice that Liberia predominantly imports from that nation. Speaking during Tuesday, the late evening dinner, Yadi disclosed that the bilateral trade between Liberia and India has been growing since the opening of the embassies in Monrovia during the heat of the COVID-19 pandemic. Bilateral trade between our two countries has also been growing speedily since the opening of the embassy. Indian exports to Liberia rose from 225,000 million in 2021 to 2022 to 207 million in 2022-2023. We are not interested in increasing Indian export alone, but we have also been striving to boost Liberian exports to India too, with the result that Liberian export to India rose from a modest of 6.95 million in 2022 to 26.80 million in 2022 to 2023. 2 years back, when I landed in Monrovia with the COVID time, I had challenging mission to establish an embassy as early as possible. My colleague, I work day and night, and I take pride in saying that despite numerous challenges, we now have fully functional embassy with passports, visas, and other consular services being provided from Monrovia. Passport services commenced in March and visa services in June 2023. India and Liberia only share decades-old, very warm and cordial relationship, but many other aspects too. Our Prime Minister believes in Shak Shabbat Shagas Shigat. Everyone together to everyone progress. His Excellencies of President of Liberia, also the vision of a proper agenda for prosperity and development of Liberia, upliftment of the underprivileged, our minister said. Betty Bachako, Betty Padao said the doctor educate the doctor. His Excellency His Excellency the President of Liberia also has a cause for women and girls close to his heart and is widely known for the feminist in Liberia gave aid to itself in Accra, the first woman president in 2006. India also got its first woman president in 2007, and the present president of India is also a woman. This brings us to a shape of the news bulletin. Back to Grafina for the continuations of news on this platform. So, India and Liberia also share strong democratic credentials and traditions for free and fair elections. India is the mother of democracy and the greatest democracies in the world. Our democratic values have been an inspiration to the world to emulate. Liberia too has set example for other countries, especially in Africa, with strong democratic traditions. I'm confident that free, fair, and peaceful elections will be conducted by October by Liberia in October. Ambassador Yadav first stated that his embassy has been working closely with the friendly government of President Weah In the able leadership of President George Manabuya and D. Mazwe Kimeyas, Minister of State and Foreign Affairs and Dean of the Cabinet. He also visits from both sides are ongoing, notable being the two visits of Liberian Deputy Ministers of Defense for operation to India in less than a year. I have provided numerous fully paid scholarships to Liberian students, teachers, and government officials during during my recent appointment from the Armed Forces of Liberia. Today, itself two students have landed in India. So this brings us to a closure back to Grafina for the continuations of news.
Thanks
On
to
this
you,
platform.
Kelly Tokpa, for the information. So we will notify our viewers before we move to our international source. We have Andy Poplachara, he's watching. And he said, good morning, Kelly Tokpa. We have Abu B. Jallo, follow live from Grand Bassa County. Thanks to you, Abu B. Jallo, for following us again this morning. And I'm saying happy weekend to you out there, folks. So we will just run quickly with our international source, and we are bringing our news from the ABC newspaper. So the headline reads, Trump asks George to schedule his federal election interference trial for 2026. Trump asked George to schedule his federal election interference trial for 2026. Former President Donald Trump's legal team has requested that the judge overseeing his federal 2020 election interference case schedule his trial for April of 2026, more than 2.5 years from now. In contrast, Special Counsel Jack Smith last week requested DC District Judge Tanya Chutkan schedule Trump's trial for this coming January, arguing it will vindicate the public's strong interest in a speedy trial. In this district, ordinary order, when faced with such overwhelming discovery, is to set a reasonable trial schedule commensurate with the size and scope of discovery and complexity of the legal issues. Trump attorneys argue in their filing Thursday. The government rejects this sense approach. Instead, it seeks a trial calendar more rapid than most no document mendemonials, requesting just 4 months from the beginning of discovery to jury selection. They say in the filing, the government objective is clear to deny President Trump and his counsel a fair ability to prepare for trial. Chutkan will hear arguments from both sides at a status conference on August 28. Trump earlier this month pleaded not guilty to federal charges of undertaking a criminal scheme to overturn the result of the 2020 election by enlisting a slate of so-called fake electors using the Justice Department to conduct sham election crime investigation, trying to enlist the vice president to alter the election results, and promoting false claims of a stolen election as the January 6th riot rage, all in an effort to subvert democracy and remain in power. The former president has denied all wrongdoing and denounced the charges as a prosecution of a political opponent. This is how we close down on all of our news here in studio for today. So just to notify you and keep you informed, today the president should be taking a tour in district number 13. And if you are a resident of district number 13, you will see there are some changes. You look on the New Georgia Road, you see there as you as they polishing the road, they are working on the road, and then if you come on the main streets, around
the best water use is the reconditioning exercise.
So they are reconditioning the road, and then if you get on the main street of Japanese Highway, if you get on the road, you see that they are cutting the grass and other stuff. And then at New Georgia Junction, there's this local place there where I think one of the representatives of this district or aspirant or political leader fixed where people can sit while you are waiting for a car or you are waiting for someone. I should say a stop point, and then it's being painted. There's a lot of changes, so we are waiting to hear from the president.
Where is that particular development you are referencing?
Right in New Georgia Junction.
Oh, it is a bus shelter.
Yes.
That is being constructed by the newly inducted commissioner of Township New York, Lieutenant L. Wright.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
great. That's great. So that is one of his project, his um, um newly inducted project. So we are grateful to him. Thanks to you, Commissioner. And I was even saying one of our political leaders. However, you are a political leader anyway. So we say thanks to you. And the president will be here today. Hopefully, he will be speaking to residents of district number 13, hoping that you can re-elect him and his representative, Edward Papi Flomo. I'm sure Kelly knows over, am I right?
So yeah, he is actually coming to tell the people that you people should vote me, you people should re-elect me. At the same time, he is going to also come back for the incumbent lawmaker who is now seeking re-election. You understand? So let's see, because this display in 2018, the president came here and he lifted John Weah hand up, and the people left, and the people defied the president's, president's support for John Weah. But let's see how the game will play. What other people will definitely turn on the president's plea again. One of the news stories you read in district number 2 and 3, the president was actually pleading with the electors there to actually vote him out. It got me laughing. It got me laughing so much.
Yeah, so the turnout for district number 2 and 3 was not.
Yeah, it wasn't very impressive.
Yes.
It wasn't that district. It used to be a CDC. That district used to be a CDC, specifically district number 2. It used to be a CDC, but as we speak now, the incumbent lawmaker Jimmy Smith is no longer part of the CDC. He has suspended his membership, with CDC on ground that the people now consulted him when they were or when they were processing the primary issue. So
Yeah, so the president will be coming today, and we encourage you to do away with the acts of violence, like always. To not be involved with violence acts. Let us embrace the peace we have within our country, Liberia. Remember, Liberia is what we have, and Liberia is what we got. So, in order to protect the peace we have within our country, Liberia, we must do away with violence. So, we have Fombaye. I'm watching you live from Jenny Liberia time and Cape Mount. Oh, thanks for watching us. Abu Bichalo, thanks for joining us. Andy Bokla Shala, thanks for following. And whenever you are connected to the daily edition of Inside the Print Media here on Focal Online TV, I encourage you to just drop your comments in the comment sections. It could be relating to the news we read or we will be reading out, or relating to some trending issues or something you notice. You can just give us a feedback whenever you are watching us, and we take that into consideration very keenly. And we will appreciate whenever you are watching, you can just drop your name and send a greetings. Yes.
My attention has been drawn to the ongoing recondition exercise since they have received information that the president will be visiting our district. I, these for me, I classify them to be an R7, R7 exercise.
Yes.
Yeah,
It is.
classify it to be an R7 exercise. When did they realize that the roads, the
Yeah.
road has been terribly bad?
Mm-hmm.
So the president have to be coming here before you get to know that, we need to recondition this part of the road. We need to do this. We need to do this.
Yeah, R7.
This is completely R7. You understand? This is the route. Battle Factory, where the occasion is meant to be held on today, is where Edward Pape Flomo, who is the current lawmaker of the district, he lives. He drives from that particular area all of the days. You understand? So I really don't understand.
Okay, thank you, Kelly. Not to I agree with you on that. It's a R7's work. You don't behave like that. That will be in a deplorable condition ever since. Few representative aspirants have made a contribution towards it. They paved it at certain point in time during the rain keep coming. But to my utmost surprise, I've never heard that Honorable Man Edward Papi Flomo had paved the road of recent until today. This morning, I saw the construction was going on. So it's something that is bad. As a leader, you should always be prompt about things. Do not wait last minute to sign because the Lord is passing your way, so you have to pretend. So this is how we close up. Happy Friday to you folks. Have yourself a nice Friday. Please do away with violence. Today the president will become behave yourself even if you're not in line with the CDC. I mean, just go about your normal duties. Do not get involved into violent acts. Thanks so much. I love you and we'll be back again on Monday, hopefully, with another top stories and the news in detail.
Focal TV. Bringing you innovation to broadcasting, news, views, comments, and analysis of issues happening